Good morning and Happy New Year. Today is the 7th, I believe. So it's a week into 2024 now. I hope it's been treating you all well. I personally have been just sort of rotting a little bit for the last week, and you know, that's okay. My birthday's in late January, and so I always considered the beginning of the year, or I have been for a few years, I consider like the beginning of the year, the first of the year, kind of like a trial period until my birthday, and then I can actually start like a proper full new year. So yeah, I just rotted a little bit. I spent the first few days of the new year at my parents', and then I came back to my apartment, and I've been doing nothing. Actually, no, I was very productive. I watched all 3 seasons of Emily in Paris in like 2 days, less than 48 hours. So that's an accomplishment. So my plan for today is I'm going to go see a friend, and the plan was to go stroll down Wellington Street and get some coffee, but it's very much snowing. So we might just not stroll. We might just find a spot and not move and just stay there. So that's the plan. I am so glad it's snowing, honestly. I live in Montreal. There was one big snow in like late November that stuck around for a few weeks, I think. And then it melted in December because it was so warm. I think it was above freezing on Christmas Day. Nothing on the ground, just mud. Which has been happening for the past few years. And it's scary because that's not supposed to be what happens here. We're supposed to have a white Christmas by default. For the first, 10 years that I lived here, there was always snow on the ground on Christmas Day. The question was, will it be actively snowing or not? And for the past couple of weeks, it's actually been very warm. It's been hovering around freezing, which is also kind of stressful. We live in Canada. It's supposed to be cold. I have not worn my winter jacket yet. I've only worn like my tweed, basically blazer, and a sweater, like all of December. And that's not okay. So I am really excited to be breaking out the winter jacket today and the winter boots finally. I did just get my first pair of Vessies and I really wanted to try them, but I don't think today's the day. It's a winter coat and winter boots day. I'm a winter gal. I did not grow up where there was winter, but now that I live somewhere where there is winter, I love it. I do not mind the cold. I will gladly pick -15 degrees over 30+ degrees any day. I started reading this on New Year's Day and then I finished it like a day later because it's a really quick read. But Água, Viva by Clarice Lispector. I'd not read anything by Clarice Lispector before. This was, I think, a weird one to start with. Is this one that people start with? But I thought it sounded incredible. It's an unordered meditation on the nature of life and time. That sounded incredible. I've already read it. It was incredible. But to me, I thought that sounded like a blast. And yeah, it's really quick. It's just these little paragraphs or these little sentences, and they're really pretty disconnected. You could like put them down and pick them back up again later, like a collection of poems or a collection of short stories. But yeah, this was, I underlined so many things. But here, let me pull up one of my favorite quotes. The eroticism that belongs to whatever is living is scattered in the air, in the sea, in the plants, in us. Scattered in the vehemence of my voice, I write you with my voice. I mean, lovely. And then after that, I read Soft Inheritance by Fawn Parker. It's a collection of poetry published by Palimpsest Press. So this book, it's centered on her mother's diagnosis and treatment and death from breast cancer. Reading through it, I took my time to care of myself. And it there were obviously very heavy moments, but it was just such a beautiful book of poems, and not all of them are about her mother. There's parts that are about like a relationship, like the decay of a relationship, as well as the decay of a person. I have maybe a dozen poems here that I've dog-eared, so very good. I recommend reading Fawn Parker's work. She mostly writes prose, but also a great poet, as we can see here. Next up, oh, I'm propped up on this, that's why. One of my goals this year is to read all of Lord Byron's poems. I've read a lot of them, because I studied the Romantics in university, so I have read a lot of what is in here. This is the Oxford World's Classics Major Works, because this is not all of Byron's poems. I also have the entirety of Don Juan up there somewhere, which I have read in full in under a week for a grad seminar, so that was a lot. But anyway, if you didn't know, 2024 will mark 200 years since Lord Byron died. That might not be important to a lot of people, but unfortunately I'm one of the people who I do kind of care. I celebrated the 200th anniversary of the publication of Frankenstein in 2018, 200 years since John Keats died in 2021, 200 years since Percy Shelley died in 2022, and now 200 years since Byron died. A lot happened in a few years in the 18 teens and 20s, but yeah. So this is just my goal for all of 2024. There's a few tabs in here from school, but I'm probably gonna go just cover to cover, map out like every week how much I want to get through. Yeah, like Byron's not my guy, but I do really like his work, so it'll be fun to hold up this book and say I've read all of this. And if there's any like gaps I want to fill, because I don't think this has all of Childe Harold's Pilgrimage. I'm gonna look that up right now. It says that it has all of Childe Harold's Pilgrimage. Okay. Okay. I'll read all of it. I think I've read part 3. The one with Switzerland. But yeah, I've not read all of it. And yeah, this is my first day, like, where I actually got ready. Like, I did my bangs, did some makeup. I'm out of bed, I'm not rotting. Let's go out and about and have a fun day. So we did end up going to Pulp Books and Café, which is a new bookstore in Verdun and on Wellington Street, if you know Montreal. I went to Pulp once last month. They only opened a month ago, not even. I went there last month, but I didn't go to the cafe part of Books and Café. So today I went to the cafe part, and wonderful, of course. And like, obviously we couldn't not buy books, so I didn't really know what I wanted. I didn't want anything in specific, but I saw this, Wild Geese by Soula Emmanuel. I've never heard of it. I picked it up, I was curious about it, flipped it over. The blurb is, Soula Emmanuel's debut novel is an intimate sprawl of memory, migration, and queer desire, charting the messy layers of love and loss that constitute a life. and that is just catnip for me. It's published by the feminist press at CUNY. It sounded perfect for me. So I bought that. And then I've got a bookmark by here, and then Weird Era is a local literary magazine and podcast, kind of like literary network. And I never told you what I am about to start reading, which is briefly A Delicious Life by Nell Stevens. It's a beautiful cover. It's just stunning. I am a sucker for any portraits on book covers. I'm a sucker for floral, citrus stuff in general. So this sounded, this just looked perfect. I think that's why I picked it up. And then I looked at the description. I've read Nell Stevens' The Victorian and the Romantic, so I know that I like Nell Stevens. And then I read the description and I went, yes. The description is, Blanca falls in love with George Sand the moment that she first sets eyes on her, kissing Frédéric Chopin in the garden of an abandoned monastery in Mallorca. It's the winter of 1838, and Blanca has been haunting the village of Valldemossa since her untimely death hundreds of years earlier. In all that time, she's never seen anyone like George, this striking woman in a man's clothing. The other villagers, however, are more alarmed than enchanted, and they soon become suspicious of George's dress, of the couple's foreignness, of Chopin's persistent and alarming cough, and of what exactly they're doing there. A queer literary ghost story, come on. I am 100% there. I'm brewing tea, or I'm steeping tea. It's already brewed. And then I think I'm just gonna cozy up, change into some sweatpants, do a little bit of stuff on the computer. My copy of major works of Byron to figure out how much I should be reading every day, or every week. I'm not gonna pick this up every single day for like a couple of pages, but every week. So it's it's about 1,000 pages. So let's say I get through 20 pages a week on average to finish all of this by the end of the year. I don't know why I thought not all of Don Juan was in here, but apparently it is. It has all of Childe Harold's Pilgrimage and all of Don Juan, which is impressive. Then why do I also have just a separate copy of Don Juan? I feel like I would have gotten them around the same time. I was originally planning to keep this on my bedside table, but to tell you the truth, I don't read in bed very often because I just fall asleep. Mostly read here or in my reading chair, but yeah, mostly in this space. So I think what I will do is just keep this always here. Hi, it's the same evening. I just put my hair up, took my makeup off, put my blue light blocking glasses on, changed my clothes, did a little bit of computer work, and I just read the introduction for Byron's major works, and the first poem is very short. It's called A Fragment. I'm assuming it's juvenilia. It doesn't say when each poem was published, but that's okay. But I assume this is a very early poem, but I think it still sounds cool, so I will read it. When to their airy hall my father's voice shall call my spirit, joyful in their choice. When, poised upon the gale, my form shall ride, o'er a darkened mist descend the mountain's side. Oh, may my shade behold no sculptured urns to mark the spot where earth to earth returns. No lengthened scroll, no praise encumbered stone. My epitaph shall be my name alone. If that with honor fail to crown my clay, oh, may no other fame my deeds repay. That, only that, shall single out the spot, by that remembered, or with that forgot. I found that really hard to read. The commas, there's a lot of commas in there. And they're not where I'm inclined to stop. But I did my best. I didn't practice that, so I'm just gonna stop at the introduction today. And then I've got, well, I guess I also read the first poem, but then I've got 20 pages of his early poems. A lot of it is from English bards and Scotch reviewers, which I've actually not read from, before we get to Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, which I guess I'll start next week. But yeah, it's getting a little late now. I'm trying to go to bed earlier, so let's try doing that today. I still have my necklace on. I'll take that off soon. But I'm gonna read some of Briefly a Delicious Life and then go to sleep. I hope this was a fun little vlog. Let me know what your first reads of 2024 are. Do you read anything particular at the beginning of the year? Do you have any goals of like an author to read or a series to finish? Yeah, leave them down below. I want to know. Okay, good night.